Mappers is a great online resource that you can use to easily differentiate assignments for your students that is based through Khan Academy and the student's individualized MAP-M score. So what I did was to set this up, there's two steps to setting it up. The first thing you need to do is to go to khanacademy.org and create an account. Once you do that, you can create different classes. So for instance, I went to add a new class and I just created this sample class. It'll ask you 3 questions like give it a title, what grade, and what subject. Once you do that, you can import your students in a couple of ways. You can either give them a code and they can sign up that way, or import it through Google Classroom, send them an email invitation, or just create one for them. So what I did is I just created a Khan Academy student and just called it sample student, and then it gives you an option to create a password for them. When I did this with my kids, I just made them all have the same password. I think it was my last name and then 1718 for the school year. Something very easy for them to remember. The only downfall is you cannot necessarily change their username. So I make sure that they write down their username and they write down their password. So once you have the students set up in the classroom, you go to khanacademy.org/mappers, and this is where you set up each individual student based on their MAP-M scores. So what I did was I come down here and I select my sample class, and here's that one student that I have in my sample class. I want to make sure that I'm selecting Mathematics 6+, since that is the most recent MAP test they've taken. And here's where you enter each of their individual sub-scores. So you enter their score through operations and algebraic thinking. I'll just say this person got a 216. Real and complex number systems, 230. Geometry, 225. Statistics and probability, 220. And then once you enter your 4 sub-scores for the MAP-M test for that individual student, it automatically generates all of these different assignments based on that sub-score that they got. So it's great. So here is all of the categories. This isn't just based on what the student got, but this is all of them. So you can easily go to the coach feature, which is through khanacademy.org, not the Mappers one. Go to the coaching feature, and then you can look at the assignments. Look at content. This is specifically for 7th grade. And I can go through, and let's say I want to assign this to either my entire class, or I can just pick specific students that I want to work on that. That's one way they can access the assignments. The other way they access the assignments is the student themselves goes on to Mappers. And once you've input their scores, it'll automatically generate assignments based on their scores. So if you see, based on the score that I entered, they have 9 assignments to do for operations in algebra. They've got 8 for real and complex numbers, and so on. So this is a great resource to use for your students. I like to use this as an extension activity. Or I also taught IM support, and there were frequent days that we did this to either reteach a concept or pre-teach a concept, or just individual practice sometimes. And it's really great because if students don't get a question right, it offers Khan Academy videos to help guide them. It also gives them hints if they're really stuck. It's just very easy and differentiated assignments for each of your individual students. And again, this is called Mappers.